Okay guys, so let's go over the 10 things you need to get your Amazon business started. Let's jump straight in and make sure you stick around to the end because it's going to be a bonus. It may go without saying, but you're going to need like a tape measure, you're going to need a marker and a cutter. I'm not even going to number these ones because you can just get these and see this one has got my name on it because my wifey always steals my tape measure. So guys, if you're working with your wife or your girlfriend, name your tape measure. This is mine, stay away. Okay, so let's jump in then. And the first thing you're gonna need really is a computer, because if you haven't got a computer, you're not gonna be able to get your account set up, be able to do shipments. You can list things from your phone. You can manage prices from your phone. You can, check your inventory. You can check your sales, and you can do so much from your phone. But really, you're going to need a computer. It's a must-have to get set up and get going. So you can't try and do it all from a tablet or a phone. Next one we've got is a tape. Right now, you don't need this tape gun. You only really need the tape. Now, when I started, I mean, these are like, what, 15 bucks, something like that. But at the beginning, we were bootstrapping. We had 500 euros and everything we could spend on inventory, that was what we wanted to do. So I didn't even have this. I just using the tape and breaking it with my teeth. And then, thought I could use a cutter. And then, right, it comes to a point where let's invest in one of these. Because like I say, that you can get them for like 12 euros, 15 euros, something like that. And then later, you probably want to invest in one of these little guys. Now these are really cool because you can, when you're taping a product, you can just tape these small little pieces and it cuts it off. And again, it's like 12 euros, but at the beginning, you're probably not going to do that. But it comes up so clean and you don't end up getting all of your fingerprints over everything and raggedy edges when you're taping up products and kind of resealing boxes if need be. You want to do it as professional as possible on a budget, right? So get yourself a tape gun when you can, one of those big ones. The small one can come later. And let's move on to the next one. So next one is these, what this is called a Scotty peeler. Now I'm not sure what this is called. It's just a plastic version. And to get like labels of products, you're really going to need one of these. Now I don't use this one because it's really sharp and it does actually cut into the cardboard boxes for me using that. So I use these plastic ones and eventually they're going to get worn out and get a bit, rounded on the edge. And I just literally get a piece of sandpaper, just sand it off and just round it off. And then I've had this for like 7 years. It comes in a pack of 3 of these and 1 of these, and it's about 15 euros, something like that, 15 bucks. And literally, we're still using the same ones, just sharpen them up every now and then. So you're going to need those. Yeah, you must have those to get your labels off, because if you're trying to get it off by hand or with like a blade, some sort of blade, you're going to end up really damaging the product boxes. And you want to keep those boxes as pristine as possible, because Amazon customers, one small thing, they're going to send it back to you and you're going to have refund costs and maybe an unhappy customer. So keep those customers happy. So the next one you're going to need is a hairdryer, right? So you've all got a hairdryer at home, I'm sure. Use that, right? You've got one, so just use it. You've probably got an old one lying somewhere, which, doesn't work amazing, but just use that. And you may as well, right? Rather than spending on something like this, which is a heat gun. Now, obviously, this will heat up really quick. It will heat up your labels quickly, and you can get those labels off faster. But you can burn your products, especially if they're plastic. So I just prefer to stick to the hairdryer. I still use the hairdryer today. Now, some of our suppliers over the years have literally given us hairdryers or a customer return or something like that, and we couldn't sell it again. So, we've got so many hairdryers. It's crazy. And as we're talking about bootstrapping, like when you get the labels off with your Scotty peeler and your hairdryer, then you want to use some alcohol to get rid of all that sticky residue, and it comes off fairly easily, but it's nothing compared to what I see as like the king of getting off goo, is this Goo Gone. So this is probably, this is like €1, $1 a bottle, right? Rubbing alcohol. And this is about €12, something like that. €15 maybe, $15. But when you're first getting started, like that's going to last you. You need a tiny drop on your product, and we just spray it on a cloth and then just rub off that all that goo. So, I mean, value for money. I mean, this is going to get you, so fast. It's so easy. Like I'd say, it's literally 10, 20, 50 times easier than this. So, if I was you, when you can, invest in that, because the rubbing alcohol is not going to do it for you always, especially on those really gunky labels. So, get some Google. Okay, now let's talk about scanners. So, what kind of scanner do you get? Do you get, there's all sorts of ones you can connect to your phone, Bluetooth, things like that. They're awesome for when you're in stores. But really, when you're scanning a product to list it, or you're scanning a product to do your inventory for the shipment, then you're probably going to need one of these. You are going to need one of these. You can get away at the beginning just typing in the barcode, but that's going to get very, very frustrating very, very quickly. It's going to get old. So get yourself a scanner. These are like 15 euros, $15, something like that. Or you can get like a Bluetooth or wireless one. These are like 30 now. When I first started, these were like 150 euros. So we didn't get one of these for years, and we just use one of these. And I mean, this is probably the third one we've had. They last a long time. You're always going to drop it. So they're pretty good value. When you're listing a product though, you can list it with your phone using the Amazon Seller app. It's free, so you can just scan the product and you can list it through your phone. And then in Seller Central, in your managed inventory, you can just then put all your prices and adjust your prices and everything else from there. So if I was you, I would list your products with your phone, when you're just getting started, and then later invest in one of these, because it's going to speed up your process so much, and it's really, really worth it. Whether you get the wireless one or not, it's up to you, but this does the job. And just to add on that, you can actually get an app for your phone that you can use that with managed inventory to scan the barcode, and so when you're creating your shipments. But it's not as easy as it seems, and it's frustrating at times. So if I was you, I would just go for the scanner. So let's come in at number 7. Now, at some point you're going to need a thermal printer, right? So I wouldn't recommend a Dymo, to be honest, but we've had this like 7 years. We still use it today, and it works, but they do jam. They do jam sometimes. I mean, this hasn't jammed for a long time, but at the beginning, you're going to jam this thing up. And once it jams, it's a nightmare to get those labels out. So there's other brands like Rolo as well. Really good one. If this does break, for me, if it's not broke, I'm not going to fix it. So, but when it does break, we're probably going to get like a Rolo thermal printer. They seem to be really good, and everyone seems to recommend those. With this, you're going to need these labels. Now, these are just like your FNSKU labels. You're going to go on a product. So, and these are cheap, right? You can get like, I think we bought something like 10,000 for something like 30 euros, 35 euros. Really, really cheap on Amazon. And these are not Dymo brand at all, but they work, and yeah, they do good. The good thing about a thermal printer, you don't need ink. So you don't get any smudging, because if you're using like a laser printer, which we also use, we use a laser printer to print off like these. These are 27 up. You get like 30 up labels as well. But if you're printing hundreds of product labels at a time, then you can use these sheets. But if you're only printing a few, obviously you're going to print these, and then you're going to be left with a whole sheet. Now, you could turn it around in the printer and print from this end, but again, you're going to be left with a lot in the middle that you're not going to be able to print on unless you're going to try and print the whole sheet. And you're going to miss some. It's going to be a nightmare. So if you're printing a few, then use these. But again, at the beginning, when you're bootstrapping, maybe you don't want to invest in one of these, right? You don't want to invest $100 in that. You don't want to invest, 30, $40 in these. I mean, you can buy obviously 1,000, for like, probably $8, $10, 10 euros. But maybe you don't want to do that to begin with, because you're bootstrapping, right? You want to get as much inventory as possible and just sell as much as possible. So you can get Amazon to do it. I mean, they're going to charge you like 20 cents, 15, 20 cents per unit. But at the beginning, maybe that's worth it, right? Because that $100 you would have spent on this, maybe you can buy 10 products that you could make $100 on in profit and just keep reinvesting that money. And then very soon, in a few months, you can get yourself a thermal printer. And something else you're going to need really is either a laser printer or just a normal printer to print your labels to go to UPS, right? To your shipping labels. Now, UPS over here, they give us these pouches. So we just use like our laser printer and we print off a normal A4, just trim the edges with a paper trimmer and put those into those pouches. In the USA, you can get those from UPS for free. Those shipping labels, you get them for free. So free is best, right? Just do free. So why not? But you're going to need your shipping labels somehow on the box, and make sure you don't put them in on the line, on the join of the box. Make sure they're on one side or on the side of the box somewhere that they're not going to get cut during the process. Otherwise, they go to another section and it takes ages to be able to process those. Okay, so next one, you're going to need either poly bags or you can have a thermal heat sealer. Now, I'll show you that in a moment, but we don't use poly bags, and we don't do bundles. And if a product requests to be poly bags, we just use this heat sealer. Now, if you're doing bundles, you're going to need these. You're going to need to put some labels on them that say multi-pack, and you're probably going to need some different sizes of these. You can just order these on Amazon, and they just open up, and you just put your product in there, and then you just stick them together, and away you go. Like I say, so what we use is a heat sealer. We buy a whole roll of this shrink wrap, which is like 1 mile or like 1.5 kilometers of shrink wrap for about 150 euros now. That used to be about 100. So we can do thousands, literally thousands of products. And when we first bought one of these, we invested in the machine for like just under 100 euros, and we invested in the roll. So in total, it was about 200 euros. And that roll literally lasted us about 4 years. So, and I'm telling you, we've done literally, 100,000 products or more in that time. But obviously not all of them need to be shrink wrapped or in a poly bag. So we just put a label on those, which is the suffocation label, just to make sure that we cover ourselves, right? So number 9 we got is boxes. So if you can do free, right? If you're doing arbitrage, online arbitrage, then you're going to get boxes sent to your home. So use those boxes. This is some Amazon boxes. Sometimes they come too small. You can just put literally 2 boxes together, stick them together like that. You can raise it up as high as you want, and then just tape around the edges and make it look like it's one box. And we've been doing that for years. We still do that now. And we don't like to buy boxes unless we have to. But obviously in the prep centers that we use, then we use their boxes. That's fine. We price all that into the margin anyway. But if you can, just do free, right? Dumpster dive if you need to, ask friends and family, and all of your supplier boxes that get sent to you, use those, right? It doesn't need to be fancy. As long as it's in one piece and it's going to protect your products, then that's all you need. Just do that. And number 10 is scales. You're going to need some sort of scales. And at the beginning, just use bathroom scales, right? You've got those in your home probably, so just use those. And then later on, you can invest in some scales like we've got. These are the scales that we're using. So you can just charge them up on a battery, and literally the battery lasts like 3 months. So, yeah, it works for us. These weigh up to 100 kilos. We never have boxes that size, but this works for us. These are heavy duty. We've had them about 5 years and still going strong. But at the beginning, bootstrap, just use your bathroom scales. It's a bit difficult to do, but you'll find a way to do it, I'm sure. And now for the bonus. So the bonus is software, right? Now I'm just going to give you 3 things that you need, really, you should get to begin with. Otherwise, your life's going to be pretty difficult without these. The first one is a subscription to Amazon Professional. You've got to have that professional account. It costs you $40, 40 euros, but you do need it because, even by the time you start selling 40 units a month anyway, then it makes sense just to get the pro account. But if you're using a free one, you're not going to get the buyer box. There's loads of other benefits that you get with the pro account. Just do the subscription. Do it from the beginning. and just push to sell enough products to be able to pay for that. So yeah, you got to do that. The next one is Keeper. Now, Keeper is going to make your life so much easier. It's going to help you analyze the products, the BSR, how many sales per month. There's a free version. You're not going to get much out of the free version, I'll be honest. But for like 20 euros, $20 a month, Keeper is really going to help you out. And my whole team uses, and it's just essential as far as I can see. And the last one is some sort of analysis software. At the beginning, you really want to be tracking all of your spending. And you want to break down if you're making a profit, right? Literally for years, when we first started our business, for like 2 years, we were making money. We were making good money. Exactly how much money? I don't know. All I saw was the money in the bank account going up. Even after paying all our taxes and everything else, it was going up. But exactly how much we were making per product, the margins, the ROI, no clue. So if you can do this at the beginning, Seller Toolkit, which we use here in Europe, is like 40 euros a month. And if you're in the USA, use Inventory Lab. It just makes sense. There's so many benefits with Inventory Lab that I wish I could have it here. But at the moment, they're still not doing it in Europe. In UK and USA, they've got you covered. But in Europe, no. So if I'm missing something from this list, please leave a comment down below. I really want to learn from you guys, and hopefully you want to learn from me. So if you like what you're seeing here, please hit that like button. Click the subscribe and make sure you keep up to date with any new videos we've got coming out. And I'll see you in the next video.